Now, if we look at crypto gaming specifically, and I will talk about how that differs to gambling and how it's similar to gambling. So crypto gaming, if we look at any traditional type of games, be they multiplayer games, first-person shooter games, whatever type of games, there are common aspects which are brought over to crypto games that are being built. So that's asset ownership, the ability to trade assets on initial markets, secondary markets, like let's say the skins that you have in CSGO, and there's a huge market for that, and there's so many brands that exist for the purpose of player gambling away their skins on a secondary market. And they're highly successful with millions of active users. So they're like a subset of casino brands. Let's say we can let's say classify them as social casinos maybe, with a marketplace in them, like D-Market, CSGO, etc. So it is, again, with crypto gaming, we see the transfer of traditional game concepts into betting. So we see this crossover between gaming and betting, and a variety of ways how it comes into existence in different brands who decide to position themselves in one or a different vertical. Another thing is the verifiable social capital, which is basically the player to have some sort of digital identity in the game ecosystem. And we see how they create their own economies, these crypto games. Some successfully, some not. They issue their own tokens, etc. Some see traction, some don't. But nevertheless, the investment in the space is huge. Here are some statistics about investments in gaming projects, specifically gaming, not even gambling, just gaming. It's more than $1 billion just in the second quarter of this year. We can see the numbers per month. So the investments are massive. And we see investment funds being created just for the goal to invest specifically in gaming projects, gaming products, new games or platforms or whatever, side products and so on. And there is a lot of capital that is being directed even from names that are super established in the investment space, who like A16. They invest in variety of, it's like a fund, like a child fund, let's say, of one of the most successful funds with investments in tech companies like Facebook and other big companies. So they have a dedicated fund just to invest in gaming and maybe gambling projects, we'll see. So there is a lot of interest, a lot of capital, a lot of activity. We see that almost 30% of total unique active wallets are related to gaming transactions, gaming activity. Now, why gambling drives crypto adoption? From player perspective, first of all, the anonymity, which they still have to some extent, because regulation hasn't been enforced really. So players still have their anonymity. There are casinos where they don't even have to create accounts. They can just bet from their wallets, from their wallets. They don't even need to, in a way, hold a balance with the casino or verify their identity in any way. The speed of payouts for sure is not comparable to the processing time of any fiat payment method, like let's say wire transfers. Even the documents that are needed to approve the transfer from the operator perspective, they're not comparable. So the speed of payouts is much better on crypto. The different engagement features that the crypto operators create for the players are another USP that makes it interesting for players, which is why it gives traction to crypto adoption as a payment method. The fact that they create communities, it's a totally different way of gambling than traditional casinos and sports betting website. And the value instruments that they create are also quite unique. So in traditional betting, we have the balance or coins, we have experience points, something like that, where players can exchange them for something, whether that's merchandise, whether it's free spins, whatever, maybe free bets. But with the traction that crypto gambling is getting, we see different value instruments like NFTs and other things will come into play for sure. So it's a lot of innovation that comes from this space. Then we see, like I mentioned, new types of games, like the provably fair concept, like the new categories of games that we have been seeing the past few years probably wouldn't ever came into existence without the adoption of crypto as a payment instrument and therefore the existence of crypto gambling websites. The crossover between gaming mechanics and betting is very interesting, and brands do it to a different extent because it's a spectrum between crypto gambling in general, between fiat brands accepting crypto as a form of payment versus brands who target the crypto-specific audience with totally different features and really don't have anything in common with any sort of traditional betting website or casino besides maybe, the way the bet is placed. Mm-hmm. We also see that a lot of concepts are brought over from trading to gambling, like staking, votes, even crypto loans are offered. So there is, in a way, the possibility to create somewhat like a super app where you can do a lot, like use it as a store of value, gamble away your funds, earn interest on your funds, etc. From back to my point about the fact that it's attracting a lot of investment in this space, gambling is the most popular category on DappRadar with more than 1,000 applications listed. So it's the largest portion that's attracting developer interest, so to speak. And we see a lot of interesting features like coin drops, faucets, loot boxes, community chats with coin drops, gifting, staking, NFT minting in the casino, slot battles, which is form of user-generated content where you create your game basically. So it just makes it possible for new features to emerge that were not relevant at all several years ago.
Sorry, Anna, I had a question about Deep Raider. What is the actual, let's say, concept of this implementation of having more than 1,000 applications of gambling? Like, what is the definition of Deep Raider?
It just lists applications by categories, so decentralized applications. And when you look at the categories, it has like different, like DeFi is a category, like exchanges and similar. Then you have social is a category. I don't remember all the categories, but gambling is one of the categories, and it just has the most applications listed. Like similarly to if you open the Google App Store and you look at all the categories of apps, so gambling is the one with the most.
So it's like a new vertical players can take part of and have like more options of diversified options of playing with crypto gambling, let's say.
It has a lot of different applications. So some of them are actual casinos. Some of them are projects which get launched and then maybe they're like rug pulls. It's from my perspective, this is similarly to the Google App Store, but with different listing requirements, for sure, not so strict. So all these applications can be anything, but they're categorized as gaming based on what the player does in them. They're not at all the same. So more than 1,000 applications doesn't mean that they're 1,000 of the same thing. They're very different. Some of them are casinos, some of them are just like NFT lotteries or anything really.
Thank you very much.
Fact is, we saw the numbers about the investments in the space, so it's serious numbers. Now I only have a few slides left about adoption. I want to continue talking. From operator perspective, why crypto? Why it became popular for operators to launch crypto brands, and why there is still so much interest in the space and more new operators are coming in? So crypto players are more valuable than fiat players. Maybe it's because they're more tech savvy, it's just a different audience. So people who hold crypto and can deposit with crypto or fiat are just a subset. The majority of crypto players are a different type of gamblers who don't necessarily come from traditional betting or casino. A lot of them are just gamers, traders. So the audience for gambling becomes wider when you make it crypto gambling, and the player value is higher. Also because the players are more tech savvy, more educated, so there are different patterns of fraud and bonus abuse and whatnot. But just because the average, let's say, educated profile for crypto players is way more compared to traditional gambling, and traditional gambling again differs. If we look at casino players versus bingo versus lottery, it would be different. But also you need to provide them a better experience because they expect a better experience than what traditional gamblers are used to. Again, these are tech savvy people, so the usual features just won't do. This is why we see really interesting engagement features emerge. Another main selling point for operators is the fact that crypto transactions are not reversible, so there are no chargebacks. This is a big pain point, chargebacks, as we know, not only in card transactions, but also in bank transfer transactions. So if you do crypto, you don't have this problem. The fees are lower. That wasn't always the case, but in the past years, the scaling solutions in crypto have made it possible to have lower fees on transactions. And this is also why a lot of new products are being built on blockchain, which wasn't possible when it was expensive. So if you have no chargebacks and low fees, and it's one payment method which is globally valid, so you don't need to do different integrations with different payment methods per market, that's just easier. It's just become much easier to launch a crypto casino or betting site nowadays than to do it the traditional way with all the fiat payment methods and customizations. Not to mention that you can keep your funds in a cold wallet if you wanted to, and you don't have to rely on somebody else to safeguard your funds as an operator. Now, all this relates to something that's called GambleFi. GambleFi normally refers to decentralized casinos. They're not popular, so there are many crypto betting websites and casinos, but most of them are not decentralized. However, there are few that are, and normally when they are, the core aspects of their business are powered by blockchain technology. From player perspective, obviously this is trustworthy, so it's expected that they would prefer a brand like that versus traditional.
Anna, I'll just have to stop you there just to be mindful of time. Are you going to be around for the next day, few days within the conference, or are you flying home? So if potential speakers and potential members of the
I'm
audience
here
wish to come and
until
meet you,
Friday.
where could they find you if they wish to engage or follow in with you further?
They can find me here.
Okay, so you will be present here.
Yes, I will be
Okay.
here. But I
Thank
think
you.
I have like 2 slides left, but we can drop it if you want.
Apologies, I just have to be mindful of giving everyone a fair shout. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you.
Marco, representing My Top Slots, please, would you like to present, gentlemen at the back?
Hello. Hope you're having a nice time in intercontinental Dublin. I had a slight delay with the flight, but now I'm here and more relaxed now that I heard about Anna and all the valuable information that she stated. And I think she made big points, especially about the crypto space that is mainly dominated by the iGaming world that I, as an affiliate, know pretty much. And well, myself, I started in 2019 in Malta, working for one of the biggest corporations in the world, Kinder Group, Unibet. And from there, I got headhunted to other big corporations like Hacksaw Gaming and Prop Investments Limited, that was an operator. And during my time in Malta, I had the transition experience of fiat to crypto, and that is mainly because well, we all know that we need to have the player experience at the utmost priority. And we basically saw that if players were able to sign up instantly and to deposit instantly, uh, not only the conversions will increase, the GGR, gross gaming revenue, will increase, but also the player experience, as Anna mentioned, and that's the utmost, let's say, priority for any operator or any affiliate like us. That we try to create value and make sure that the players have the best crypto casino offers and the best certified operators to play with. Now, it is important to know that I will address things on a very superficial level. I wanted to ask a question to all of the people here. How many of you guys have a wallet, e-wallet, let's say, Web3 e-wallet for the last 5 years? Okay,
2,
that's not much.
3.
How many of you have a Web3 wallet for the last 2 years? Okay. Well, essentially, this means that it's an extremely new technology that is still in the process of developing and enhancing its product. But it's definitely a solution. It's definitely a decentralized solution for many high rollers, for many people who just want to gamble and essentially for fun, but have no hassle in the registration process and in the essence of just depositing money, and also in the sense of having these blockchain games that Anna talked about, that she really explains deliberately, that have many options that are linked to crypto in and of itself. Now, I will just outline 3 main bullet points when it comes to the technology decentralization, the transparency, the let's say the total Bitcoin transactions for the last 5 years that is directly linked to the GGR, the gross gaming revenue the industry has seen, especially the market that I would cover as a Dutch national. The Netherlands has seen incremental substantial bets for the last 4 years, especially since it got legalized, because I started in Unibet when it was like a gray market, but ever since it got legalized, I think they went from 100,000 customers to almost 500,000, and that's just increasing year by year. Now, as Anna mentioned and other people here about crypto, it's just a solution where there's a public ledger, there's an end-to-end encryption transaction, and all the transactions are basically recorded. Now, there's of course loopholes, and this I will address later, that are linked to fraudulent activities, to people that might use such technologies to commit, let's say, illegitimate actions or even terrorism funding. But it is definitely a solution, especially when it comes to the centralized inflation caused by central banks and by the main institutions. The crypto space holds a solution for I send money to you, and basically there's no fluctuation. It's just the value that I send to you for the service that you provide to me. It's basically a fair exchange, right? And it's also stated in the concept of probably fair technology that allows the players to, or any user in the crypto space, to make transactions in a in a fair way without an intermediate. That in this case, it's the central banks. I mentioned before the volume of transactions. That's why I asked in the last 5 years which one of you has had registered with Web3, aka crypto wallets, and who hasn't had it in the last 2 years. And it's because it has almost doubled for the last 5 years. You can see that in 2020 we had about 500 million transactions, and now it has doubled to 1 billion. And I think other experts like Adam in this topic can have more of an effective prediction of the future, but this is only increasing year by year. And that comes down to many public but also private institutions stepping in the game. Let's see if it goes on. Like BlackRock, you've all known that BlackRock has made a huge milestone in the crypto space, especially with Bitcoin, betting hugely on this decentralized currency, allowing also big private corporations to trade with this currency, and also allowing this currency to enhance its yield and capital market share. And other big figures like Nayib Bukele, which I quite admire a lot. He's a pragmatic politician addressing, let's say, country problems from a rational perspective. And he was one of the first government officials to, legalize Bitcoin and use it as a official currency. Now that doesn't mean it's a perfect solution. It's the next fiat currency, to say so, but it's definitely the way to go, and we should all join this debate of what is the best option to have this decentralized currency, and the best way of not having an intermediate in place that is actually fluctuating and manipulating the actual value of the currency, because it's basically owned by the people who make the transactions and who build leverage with this currency. And that comes directly linked to the potential risks, and that comes with cyber terrorism, with fraud, anti-money laundering. Myself, I was raised in Spain, but I lived in Rotterdam for many years, and I'm Dutch national in essence. I know that in Holland, with the organized crime, it has been never as easy as now when it comes to receiving payments with crypto, or just like paying off suppliers, to say so. And it's definitely an issue that all the politicians in the parliament are working every day to solve, because it's always a let's say a challenge when you don't know where the money is coming from, and when certainly these people who have extremely let's say prominent power, but also in a bad way, have this option of freedom, and also this option of laundering money that eventually is used for a bad cause. So this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Of course, me as an affiliate, I started a year and a half ago launching my own site together with my good friend of Malta, my top slots, and soon starting a different site purely focused on crypto casino, also with the domain name that is targeting crypto casinos. But essentially, for me, it's still a learning curve, and also for me, it's the first time I talk to people on stage. But it's definitely the thanks. It's definitely the future, and I think we just need to be prone to learn. We need to be prone to accepting new technologies. We need to be prone to realizing that the factor that so many of my clients, as operators, are investing in this technology, are investing millions in having this shuffle from fiat to crypto, is for a reason. The first reason is it increases user experience, and the second reason, well, the overall profit margins increase as well. So we definitely need to take a chance to allow everybody from the private and public sector to let this sink in, as Elon Musk would say, and let this also be the new way of currency. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marco. Can I get a round of applause, please, for Mr. Marco Braun? For your first presentation and for your first panel, you did fantastically. So
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Last but by no means least, you owe me a rematch, by the way. Can I please welcome Mr. Adam Azzopardi? Please, Adam, rock away.
No slides. I'm taking it impromptu. First off, always a pleasure hearing people speak about the crypto space and just seeing, where the whole space in general is heading. I'm Adam Azzopardi. I'm the head of product for the Web3 section within Betson Group. I've been in the space, in the crypto space, for the last 7 years. It was around the festive period of 2017 when Bitcoin started hitting all-time highs. When I got into the space, essentially, I remember putting in maybe 100 or so into Binance, thinking that I'm some top investor because I doubled my funds within a few hours and then lost them all a few hours later. But yeah, from there, of course, I understood that there was an opportunity to learn and to understand where we're heading, or where the space in general was heading. It was very clear from the get-go that there was technology that can be utilized in various aspects. We're going to be talking about the iGaming space today, but we can appreciate that companies, whether they form part of the iGaming space or not, can make use of blockchain technology. First off, I do want to differentiate between what crypto and blockchain is. It's a question that has been put on the table many times. Blockchain is the underlying technology. It is the technology that allows for decentralized verification of transactions, ensuring that there's no tampering with transactions or with data that is being put on the chain. And crypto itself is what gives it that financial value. So essentially, the contributors to the blockchain, the contributors to verifying those transactions, that data, and making sure it's authenticated, are in turn paid in crypto when it comes to layer 1 technologies. Since then, cryptocurrencies has evolved beyond the scope of just being a layer 1 value activator, so to speak. So companies and entities are now having their own cryptocurrencies, giving them as a form of utility to their users to encourage them to do different actions on their platform. And of course, this is one of the reasons why it's also gaining popularity in iGaming. We're seeing platform providers, for example, we can take Rollbit, that has its own cryptocurrency hitting its market cap of around 500 million because they are making very good use cases from the token that they have. On the other hand, by allowing crypto by welcoming crypto into iGaming platforms, it has also allowed these platforms to tap into new markets. When we have a look at cryptocurrencies, crypto platforms, and fiat-based platforms, one thing we notice is that we're no longer dealing with a single currency approach. Platforms that are Web 2 based, as we tend to call them from a Web 3 perspective, have the limitation of only being able to target single regions or single currencies because they are dealing with one currency at a time. When it comes to crypto platforms, that is not the case, because you can have platforms that are easily accepting 50, 70, 80, 90 currencies all at one go. But due to the nature of the iGaming platforms in general, and with the fact that they tend to integrate different third-party aspects into their platform to make it more of a holistic platform, some parts of that are being left behind. If you take, for example, the traditional games, the games we're used to. I know we briefly now touched upon the provably fair games, but let's take a step back from that. Let's look at the games that have been doing the rounds on the platform for the last few years. Those games essentially were tailored for single currency platforms. The providers that do build those games build them in a way that are added to a platform to accept one currency. So it has resulted in, I guess, a hacky way of being able to offer these games to be competitive, but having to find a way to allow multi-currencies to play on them, which is where essentially a prompt would come up on the screen telling the user that their balance is going to be displayed in a fiat currency and the balance is being deducted from their crypto wallet. So you have a bit of a makeshift solution that gets the job done but doesn't get the job done well. And that's where these new form of games have come in. The games that are essentially tailored for the crypto space. They allow users to play with multi-currencies very seamlessly, so the user can quickly switch his balance and play with a currency as he deems fit. So we are seeing the iGaming space in general evolve quite well to cater for this influx of new audiences. But we also have to appreciate that the crypto space has a tendency of being looked at in a gray fashion, so to speak. We basically just looked at the fact that it is also used as a way for anti-money laundering, financial crime, and so on and so forth. How do you work around that? Regulation has to come into play. Over-regulation maybe is a risk at the moment since it's an evolving industry, but we have to appreciate that there needs to be a form of regulation. Now, there are jurisdictions that are positioning themselves at the forefront of the crypto space. We have the Curaçao license, but we also have other jurisdictions that are coming into play as well, such as the MGA. I myself am Maltese. I live in Malta, so I'm quite exposed to the MGA license in general. And the MGA is looking at allowing for platforms to be able to cater for this growing audience within the iGaming space. So we are heading into the direction we need to be able to have crypto as a, how would I put it, more market-ready industry, so to speak. We're even seeing it outside the scope of the iGaming space as well, with ETFs coming out, with governments looking at implementing it, as Marco just touched upon. So the industry is heading in the right direction. It is growing. It is young, because we have to appreciate that while the stock exchange has been there for over 100 years, the crypto space has not. The Bitcoin came out in 2007, and then altcoins came out at a later stage. So we have to appreciate that it is still a very young industry. But it is an industry heading in the right direction on a global scale and also on an iGaming scale as well. I would say that's pretty much from my part. Seems
Have we lost one of the mics?
Maybe I killed it, I'm sorry. So what is Betson doing with blockchain? Are you using blockchain to build something? What are you building? What is your crypto offering for players beyond accepting it as a form of payment?
Yeah, so essentially, I joined Betson in January 2023, so last year. Before that, we weren't really looking at the crypto space, so to speak. Betson as a company, starting off with land-based and then going into the online gambling space, has been active for the last 60 years. But crypto, of course, was very recent, and we must appreciate as well that when it comes to larger institutions, new technology takes time to implement. So I joined last year. The first point for me was to identify from a product perspective how we can make use of blockchain, of cryptocurrencies within the scope of what Betson is trying to do. Of course, Betson is a publicly listed company, so we have to appreciate that if we're going to delve into crypto, if we're going to delve into blockchain, it needs to be done from the right point of view. So essentially, that is what we're doing right now. We're looking at how we can implement it within our existing technology, within the lines of the law, and seeing how we can offer it to our user base to tap into that existing market.
Thank you very much, Adam. I would like you all to give a round of applause, please, to our panelists for this wonderful discussion. You are all present. Adam, I know you're flying back, but you'll be around for a while. I know you've already said you'll be available. Marco, you'll be around for tomorrow as well. So if anyone has any questions or follow-up that you want to have for these lovely people, please feel free to make yourselves available and come find them. Can I get one more round of applause, please? Thank you very much. Right, our final presentation, because I know it's late and everybody is probably tired. Our final presentation will be on positive play and safer gambling, which I know a lot of people just leave the room when they hear that. Can I ask for 5 minutes and we will have our speakers on for our final panel of today. Thank you very much.